You'll start, okay, Hot Rock starts over here with Becky Kinloch.
My name is Becky, and I'm Heinz 57 artist. I'm not fantastic at anything, but not bad at doing. This was taken at the Nature Preserve. It was watercolor. It was taken when it was all green. Maybe any of you artists know that green is the toughest one to paint. It's my least favorite color to paint with. I couldn't stand that, but I did like the shadows and the way that the wood was broken across the bottom. And if you like original pottery, a lot of the pottery that's wheel thrown is mine, and I'm going to pass it to this beautiful young lady.
Hi, I'm Newman. I'm an artist. I do mostly like oil painting and illustration. This is my piece right here. Skulls and mushrooms appear a lot in my art. This is maybe the second one that I did with this sort of theme. I was in school at the time at UNO, and I was working off of a prop in the studio I was in, and just sort of reflecting on like decomposition and sort of the beauty and like the death cycle. You know, that's really the main theme in most of my work. So that's about it. Who's next?
I'm Julie Wolter Jenowe, and my piece is here. And I also have a mask around the wall over there. And I think of myself as like through my art, it is a way for me to channel nature spirit and maybe learn how to connect to parallel realms. And so it's all done through nature spirit and what I find in nature. And it really drives all of my work, and I want to bring those things that I discover along the way to others.
My name's Mary Wolford, and this is my piece up here called Dreamy. So it's the woman underneath the tree in the evening, and there's a few sparkles in there. I did that piece, I took care of my dad for about 9 months, and I did a lot of artwork on paper with those mediums. So it was actually art therapy for myself. So I really enjoyed doing it. And as you see, she's out in nature.
Hey, wait, could I go back? Because I have to do Kate. I almost forgot.
Oh, her friend.
My friend Kate, who couldn't be here tonight, is the mandala up here, and she does a lot of mandalas and other artwork too, and she's very nature spirit inspired and does, she is a shamanic practitioner, and she couldn't be here tonight, so I wanted to speak about hers because she does really some amazing mandalas that are really great for meditation and journeying.
Alright, I'm Tharnish. This is my painting here. It's inspired by an old family photograph and that feeling of being a kid and playing outside and making wishes on dandelions.
And what's the title of that?
I remember our dandelion wishes.
Yes, I like that.
Hi, I'm Alissa, and I'm a photographer, and this is my photo back here. The Blue Hour, I do like landscapes, wildlife, bugs. Right now is my favorite season. But that was a chance. It was like right before spring hit, the water was still frozen, and you guys know, especially if you do photography, you know when you have that shot, and that just happened to be that shot. So it's great. Everybody, you guys are all very talented here. It's a joy to be here.
Thanks. So mine is actually this one right down here. My name is Trinity Noblecameron. A lot of my work focuses on like connection between individuals or connection between an individual and nature. So I thoroughly enjoy that they decided to have this show and that I could be a part of it. This one in particular, it's called The Grasp of Radiance. So I like to work with trying to bring, making the world seem like it's, letting the viewer experience that the world is bigger than they are. And so with this one, I really wanted to show the connection between those. And yeah.
Okay, I'm Karen Klein. I do a lot of nature photography, especially I like doing abstract kinds of things, that one up there. And when I ask to kind of describe things or talk about my art, I kind of end up making verses. So you get to have a poem from an amateur person. It's winter trees on an island in the river, leafy camouflage gone, character revealed, trunks tall, some fallen, some broken, then regrown, limbs reaching out, dark against the whited sky, muted hues of winter, leafless bones of river trees, blurred and soft in a flowing mirror, faded light of a storm beginning, magic dust of snowflakes drifting, enchantment in the dark and light, it's in us all.
That's great.
All right, my name is Nate Sandercock. I'm an architect and kind of artist from here in Omaha. All of my work is digital rendering down here. It kind of starts with a, I would call it almost like a digital sculpture with kind of computer modeling programs and then using similar ones to add environments and things like that. So basically, like I said, I'm on the way to being an architect, and we question how you actually help the earth rather than helping humanity help the earth, if that makes sense. So the project is this giant sculpture that does the work of a tree long after kind of humans have left the earth and let it go back to whatever it is. So thousands and thousands of years in the future, the earth is kind of reclaiming this last scar that humanity left there. And I have a lot of like videos and images to kind of go with it, but yeah.
That's it, yeah. Made it within a minute.
Nice, right on time. I could have gone for 10 minutes.
I'm Aubrey Niemoth. My piece is this one right here, titled Raccoon. A lot of my work does showcase found objects. In this instance, it happens to be the skull of a raccoon that my boyfriend had collected on one of his excursions out and about on his conservation corps work. I really like to try to capture the sense of, like, remember being a kid and you're behind your shed or on the edge of your fence or the side of your yard digging around in an area that you usually don't go, and you find bones, you find lost jewelry, you find an old pop can from 1976 in a pattern that you've never seen before. And that's kind of where I want to go with a lot of my natural imagery.
Wow, thank you. 1976.
That's awesome. I'm Aspen. This is my piece. I'm a glass artist. All the glass that I use is recycled, so it's going to be thrown away. And then I repurpose it into art because I'm huge on environmentalism and saving the planet, hence biophilia, the love of the planet. This specific piece took me like a year, which is really weird. I made the fence and then put it in a closet for a year because I didn't know what to do. And then I added a flower. I also write poetry and then do a little bit of analog photography. And I work at Kinloch as well. So
Your book of poetry is here in the gallery?
yeah. And we're starting a poetry program at Kinloch next week, so if you're interested.
Very cool.
And yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. My daughter Aspen is outside.
Oh,
There's not a lot of
She's
one of the artists here, but she doesn't have a piece in her
I've
show.
seen her. I was like, oh, who's Aspen?
My name's Alissa Hansen, and my piece is way taller than me. It's up there on the wall and 2 trees. It's called Communing Oaks. I actually did that almost a year ago. I was an artist in residence out at the Homestead National Historical Park in Beatrice. And so I get to live there for 2 weeks and do art and walk the prairies every day. And there's this little path. You can either take the path to the prairie or take the little path through the trees. And I plopped myself down there and saw these 2 oaks
touching, and the longer I was there, the more I felt like I could hear them talking to me, the plants, and so I sat there and listened and drew, and the one on the left was talking to the one on the right, in, LA, and asking, where do I end and you begin? And the other one reassured that oak that separation is an illusion, and I love that time I got to spend there, and that's my favorite drawing. So.
Okay. Who's next?
Oh, you have any?
Hi, I'm Madison Tharnish. My print is that one up there. I am currently earning my BFA in printmaking at UNO, and this piece was a really fun one just to show like the whimsy and intrigue that comes with nature, and as you go deeper and learn more about it, it just like sucks you into it.
Sorry.
My name is Kim Doss, and I work out of my studio in my basement home in Elkhorn, and I'm a retired English teacher who never thought she could be an artist because when I was in elementary school, I couldn't draw at all. A few years ago, I started doing collage work with vintage materials because I can't draw, but I can glue paper. And so I worked largely with vintage materials because I was trying to establish a connection to the past. Nothing is more exciting to me than seeing some old handwriting on a postcard that's 100 years old. And so the color palette for that is pretty limited: creams, blacks, browns. And something weird happened to me at the beginning of this year. I started getting hungry for color. And I thought, what better way to incorporate color is to learn how to paint with acrylics. And so this piece behind me is just really an experiment. I'm trying to learn. I want to always keep learning. And so color, painting in acrylics, and I want to use gestural marks and color to evoke emotion in my viewer.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Becky McCarville, and this is my chair right over here, my cyanotype chair. It's called Prairie Meditation, and I work a lot in cyanotype. It's a historical photo process, and I also do upholstery, and so I was very happy that this worked out to my advantage, I guess, and so I was able to do that. But basically, I went out to Glacier Creek Preserve, and I was able to just really, the importance, I guess, of walking in nature, of going along the trails, and just kind of drinking all that in and being appreciative. And so that's kind of where this came out of in a class at UNO nature writing last summer. And that's actually Barbie's hand holding a prairie orchid. So Barbie, I don't know if you heard that or not, that's her hand. So it was just really, it's just been a real interesting journey. I've said yes to a lot of things and no to a few other things, and it's kind of opened up some interesting things in my life. But anyway, cyanotype, it's a really easy process that anybody can do. So I mix plant materials and enlarged negative just with a Xerox machine basically, and requires a couple chemicals, UV light, and water, and some time. So, and then some luck too, a little bit of luck. But so I was able to make it in, outside at my house, and so that was pretty fun too. It was an interesting process. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else back here? Okay.
Hi, I'm Maggie Prochaska. I'm an alcoholic. These are my quails over here. They're watercolor. And when I run out of watercolor paints, I'll use acrylic. And I paint birds, but I also will paint people's pets. And I love to be out in nature, watch the birds in my birdhouses. And then people send me all kinds of photographs. I'm here.
Hello, I'm Grace Gaard. I did the Calamus shoreline piece over here on canvas in acrylic. And I'm an outdoor educator with Nebraska Game and Park. So it's kind of like my life's work, I guess, to just try to connect people to the outdoors and get them out there experiencing it in their own way and connected to it in their own way. And so for me, a lot of it is through artwork, and so I do a lot of pieces based on landscapes or animals and plants, and so yeah, that's just what I'm really passionate about in my professional world, and so I also like to kind of have it spill over into my artwork as well. So yeah, just always that kid running around through everyone's through the neighborhood with my friends, and so now it's cool to be making a career out of it and also get to kind of express it in artwork. So yeah, that's my piece.
Thank you. I think send it that way. Who's got the rock? Okay. All right.
Hi, I'm Anna, and I have a vase over there with the flowers in it. So
it's gorgeous.
My friend Holly did the bouquet, and I did the vase, it's wood fired, which is a pretty long 24-hour, 7 days stoking a wood kiln with wood as the fuel source, the primary fuel source, and reaching 2400 degrees. So the wood ash collects on the piece and it fluxes out and creates a glaze. And then this painting here, which is probably hard for a lot of people to see because it's down low, is the Les Hills. And I am an avid hiker and just nature appreciator in this area. And the Les Hills are a really special geographical feature in this part of our region. There's only one other place in the world where there is Les Hills soil that is as deep as what we see here. So I also love the grasslands and prairie biome, and you'll see that also in my pottery. And primarily I spend most of my time in clay, but about 25% painting.
I love your vase.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Keep going this way.
My name's Bashara. I have these pieces over here that are faded pieces. I'll try and make an intelligible statement.
Oh no, just go ahead and talk.
Just
sure.
talk. But as a child, I'd play between like 2 lilac bushes, and they were like tunnels, and I would have different colored barks, and those were like the cooked meat and the raw meat, and there's always this interplay, I guess, between domesticity and nature, and so I feel like that kind of came up again by incorporating a utilitarian item with the natural pieces that I've collected over time. And those pieces are all like ways that I guess, connect with where I'm at. Most of the items, though, on these pieces have all been collected here in Nebraska. I've lived here for 13 years, so it spans that time, and it allows me to investigate too, like the names of plants and species. And I'm sort of like, I feel like Frankensteining things where I want to put things together that don't necessarily fit. But my heart wants them to. So, did it.
Very good, Shireen.
My boyfriend and I both have a piece in here. He couldn't be here tonight. His is the green flower.
So you get 2 minutes?
No, I get one. Because Jim would say that's my art. Jim Henzina is his name, and we have those flowers all over the house, and all his art is flowers. He also has flower spoons here over there by the open sign that he makes. And mine is an embroidery piece by the back door, and it's called Daphne Unraveling. And I love embroidery, and it's on upholstery that Jim was going to use in our Beetle, Volkswagen Beetle. So I take the scraps, and I basically tried to figure out a way to put a naked human body in there. So if you see it's like a half torso and a titty, and but it looks like a tree. So yeah, so that's me. And my name's Trinity.
My name is Brad Marr. My piece is actually the blue piece right here on the wall. So I've worked with acrylic and gold leaf, so that's the background. The gold leaf with paint over it. I use that medium because it's, the Egyptians would wrap up objects in gold leaf to send to the afterlife. So I just love that spiritual kind of connection that, because all these ideas are very spiritual to me, not in a religious way, but in a sort of energetic and cosmos kind of way. And nature to me is very important. I just kind of view Earth as like a borrowed thing. A lot of people treat it as though you own part of Earth, but you never do. And so, I just feel there's a strong connection and gives me a lot of good energy to be around things in nature. And, the show exhibits that in a lot of different ways. So just happy to be in here. So.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Laurel Carr, and this is my piece right up here, the cone flowers. I'm probably best known for my backgrounds. I hate painting traditional backgrounds, so I came up with different backgrounds. I also am known for my project paintings. My first one was 90 Birds in 90 Days. And those come from photos that people send me. They all go in a hat, and every day I'll pull one in the morning and paint it by midnight. And I think I'm on my 6th project. I've done dogs, cats, coffee mugs, pets, whatever, and I'm getting ready to do a year-long trek through the U.S. I'll be in one state for 1 week doing a painting of the state birds and flowers from what people send me. And so I'll launch that, I think, January 1st if everything goes according to plan, and if not, whenever it gets there.
I am Trisha Menard. I am the bikini in a blizzard. So last year there was a snowstorm, and I couldn't stop watching it, and I just wanted to be out in the texture of the snow and near this huge silver maple that I have, because I don't know about you, but generally I don't go out in the snow so unclothed. I hate being cold, but it was actually a very kind of freeing experience. I only lasted about 15 minutes, but yeah. And so I decided to take some pictures of it, and I mounted it on a found piece of wood with some pieces of the bark from my tree. And there are lichens on it.
I was going to say, I love the lichens on it.
My name's Grant. I have a print over in that corner and a print over in that corner. We're kind of right in the middle here. When I was told I was going to have to give a speech, I was kind of that original, oh my god, I'm going to have to get up in front of all these other artists and try to define my work and my art. And I think it's kind of hard for a lot of younger artists to do that because we're sort of still in the process of figuring it out for ourselves. You ask yourself those big, debilitating questions. How do I define my practice? What's the meaning behind all this? And I'm starting to learn that it's okay not really to have the answers to all those questions right away. I think as an artist, you kind of have to, all the time, just be evolving and kind of cultivating a community where your work can be understood and appreciated. And so when my friend Aspen told me about this show, Biophilia, I knew this was one I needed to be a part of, just because I think that's what a lot of my art is about. Just connecting with life and just really being present in the ongoing process of creation that is life.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, I love the detail in your work, Greg.
Oh yeah, you gotta get up close.
You do. Is yours the frog? Yeah. Who's got the rock?
Have it. My photograph is as far away from me as possible. So it's Little Storm on the Prairie, and it's right by the door back there. So I'm from southeast Nebraska. I spend a lot of time in the Luss Hills, sometimes the Verada Hills, which are in very far southeast Nebraska. My photographic process is pretty simple. I take off my shoes and I walk around. Sometimes I scream into the abyss because I really like scream therapy. I stop about every 5 seconds. I like to photograph centipedes and snakes. I love structures that are dilapidated and ramshackle. Those are 2 words that I definitely wanted to get into this tonight. And I almost failed art in 8th grade because I can't draw and I can't paint anything. But I sometimes like to take photos of stuff. This photo in particular, I was hiking west of Lincoln, and I saw the storm clouds roll in over the prairie, and so I just stopped and took a photo of it, and I liked the juxtaposition of the dark clouds and the prairie grass. And then I think I probably screamed.
My name is Laura Snyder. I'm a photographer. My piece is the Sunflower. That's the 35mm
It's back over there.
photo print in the far back corner up high. I primarily work with digital media, but a few years ago we were cleaning out my mother-in-law's house and found a Canon AE1 analog camera, and so I got it cleaned up, got some film, got new batteries, and then fell in love with the kind of unexpectedness of analog photography. You can't like take the picture and then look at the screen and see what you get. That was just a standard image. You know, I took the picture, there's a little light leak, sent it off to get developed, but I do also experiment with a technique called film soup, where after you expose the roll, you drop it in boiling water with chemicals that kind of eat away the emulsion, dry it out, get it developed, and then see what magic comes back. Sometimes it's awesome magic, sometimes it's magic, and sometimes it's just trash. But that's what really speaks to me now, is that the kind of happenstance that happens with analog photography. And being out in nature, I'm a teacher in an urban area, getting away from the city as far as possible, like my blood pressure drops as soon as I hit gravel. And just over finding abandoned, ramshackle structures also is something I like to photograph, especially old school buildings.
Okay,
Hello, my name is Jeff Mack, and most of my photographic work looks more like the black and white infrared over on this side. I like to use really high contrast to kind of pull you in and give you the emotional impact of seeing big structures in nature in real time. But this time, I've got a very small picture that's probably very hard to see of a very small muskrat. Just in sepia tone. And to me, high contrast just didn't fit in. It was cute. We were walking. Lake Cunningham was still super icy. And the first time I saw him, my wife said, "Is that a rock?" And I went, "I think it is a rock." And then the rock moved. And so we kind of followed him around a little bit, and he finally stopped to eat on an ice floe. We got pretty close to him and got a picture. And I thought the sepia kind of was nostalgic and gave it a warm memory kind of feel. And made me happy. So hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd like to see the difference in your different photography.
Thank you.
Who needs the rock?
Am I the last?
Are we done? Wow. What an amazing thing with the hot rock and the artist.